You're watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.
We're pleased to welcome back Mr. Mark Schienberg, who's president of the Greater New York Automobile Dealers Association. Mark, thanks so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us here at CBT News. Very much appreciated. So tell us, how are things going in New York?
Well, we had our first snowstorm in over 700 days, so I guess that's the big news that's going on here.
Right.
Not like Buffalo or Kansas City as far as it, but New York is the dealers are rebounding extremely well. We've always said, and anybody who's been in the auto industry always kind of talks about the ability for the retail dealers to change with the times.
Yeah.
And there's probably no more, obvious kind of change that's going on in the industry than what's happening now, whether it's on the products that dealers are selling or the way that products are being sold with the regulatory climate that we're in.
Right. But
dealers are just an amazing breed in that they buckle down and they figure it out. I think the best example for me was showing the versatility of the dealer was when COVID happened.
Yeah.
And like New York dealers around the country, we had to adjust.
Yeah.
We had to change the work environment. And I remember going into dealerships after we worked on the protocols with the governor at the time on how they can open up and continue to sell cars as service cars, on how they transform their operations.
Yeah.
There were face masks at the front door, hand sanitizers. There were plexiglass screens that went up. They did it like that. And they made the changes. They cleaned the cars down as they were coming in for service, and they cleaned it afterwards on it.
That's
so,
great.
Unbelievable on how they were able to, who knew what a pandemic was? Who knew, what COVID-19 was? But they figured out a way to be able to follow the procedures and make it all work for them. And that's what I think retail dealers have done for over 100 years. They've always changed to change with the product that they're selling, the consumer that they're working with on it. That's what makes it such an interesting industry.
That's right. So now here we are, fast forward to 2024. There's some concerns out there. I'm sure you're hearing some of them that maybe since October or November of last year, things have kind of come down a little bit, and there aren't as many people, wanting cars, and that's a concern. Talk to us about that. Are you hearing that from your members as well? And then what do you feel 2024 will bring?
Well, we're definitely seeing an increase in the amount of vehicles on the lots. So they're staying there a lot more. It was nice for a while when they didn't have any floor plan at all. So, it seemed like it was good on it. But I think what's the dealers are adjusting to is the idea that they can deliver a car almost immediately to a customer on it.
Yeah.
So the sales have sort of leveled off a little bit. People who didn't want to get into mass transit during COVID and were first-time buyers, especially the younger buyers that were out there that never thought about buying a car, all of a sudden really enjoyed the idea of taking a look at cars and owning one.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to really be really beneficial as it goes along. So I think, car sales have slowed a little bit, but the demand is still very, very high.
Yeah, yeah. What can you tell us about your association's agenda for this 2024, for this year?
Well, the legislature just started for us here in New York, so it went off really quickly after the State of the State address by the governor, who we were very happy to notice what was not in her State of the State, and that was direct sales, which it was the year before, which we had to fight really hard to kind of derail, which we did. Along with really, really great allies, manufacturers associations, labor groups here in New York, which are extremely powerful, were on our side about opposing direct sales. So this year, I think they're still licking their wounds and saying, okay, we're not going to push that agenda so directly, though there is some legislation that's out there right now that if New York State doesn't meet the goals of electrification by the certain thresholds through certain years, that they'll allow up to 10 stores to be opened by a direct manufacturer.
Wow, putting a little threat on you there, huh?
Yeah, it's punishing the dealers. It's, that's the people that are going to get hurt are the dealers on this. But we have already spoken to our allies on this thing, and we don't think that bill is going to go anyplace on it.
Yeah.
But there's still that agenda that's out there that of the Teslers and the Rivians and the Lucids and others that want to be able to do direct sales. And in New York, we believe the best answer for meeting the thresholds that have been set for electrification is through franchise new car dealers.
Yeah.
We got 1,000 franchise car dealers in every community around the state of New York.
Yeah.
And if we want to move that needles, it's going to be, again, the dealers who have done it in the past and will do it in the future.
That's right. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, how are EV sales going in New York? What are dealers telling you? Some of the dealers I speak with around the country are saying those are the ones that are starting to age on our lot. We're concerned about that. Have you found that to be the case there in New York?
It has slowed down from that first wave that came through where there was just a really amazing increase on it. It's still gone, still increasing in New York, electrification, but not at the pace that everybody was hoping that it would continue to do. And I think there's a number of reasons for that. I think, on the federal level, there's so much confusion on who's entitled to the clean air rebates on there. I just saw today that Hyundai decided to take it in their own hands to offer people buying their electric vehicles, $7,500. So they may have not have been entitled because of how the federal government had set up the rebates on it.
Sure.
But, the industry is going to do it. And I think that's what we're going to see. There's an enormous investment in electric vehicles that are out there. And, I'm sure most of the viewers have driven an electric vehicle. They're quite impressive. I mean, they really
no question. No question.
And I don't, they're not going to go away. They're only going to continue to grow on it. And I think the manufacturers have that much invested, they're going to figure out how to handle the charging units, and work out the arrangements that they're doing so that there's less of a concern about that. I think the financial side still has work to be done. So it's slow in New York, but I think, again, we just, the news was nationally there was 1 million electric vehicles that were sold, hit there 1 million. So it's happening.
Yeah. It's happening. Hey, before I let you get out of here, and I appreciate all the time you've given us, real quick, tell us about the New York Auto Show.
Well, we're in our planning stages. We're a little earlier this year. We always follow Easter, so Easter starts at the end of March. But very exciting stuff. We have several manufacturers that are back exhibiting. Infiniti is back in the show this year. Acura is back in the show.
Oh, that's great.
Genesis has said that they're going to be in the show again this year as they were last year. Our ride and drive last year increased the numbers 41% for people wanting to drive an electric vehicle.
Wow.
So it was about 120,000 people.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
That are going to be there. Cadillac is going to be in that ride and drive this year. So is Lexus. So we're getting more interest on it. So it's exciting. We're sold out on the show, on the plan. Camp Jeep will be celebrating its 20th anniversary doing Camp Jeep with us. So
very cool.
All very exciting stuff.
Yeah. It's a world-class show. There's no question about it. And we will be there as well. And we're excited about it. So congratulations on selling out. It does every year. So Mark Schienberg, president of the Greater New York Automobile Dealers Association. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. I know that our viewers and subscribers get a lot out of your visit with us. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.